Hey, it's Brewbird. In this video, we're going to the Shakespeare Distillery, where I'll be developing my very own gin recipe in the gin school. So, let's go! Gave me the opportunity to try my hand at developing my own gin recipe, so I got to work on it in the gin school. I didn't know where to begin with making my own recipe, so he suggested that I try coming up with a recipe using the gin botanical grouping chart. All of the gin recipes I experimented with were distilled in the same way, following the same instructions that we'd give to the gin experience visitors. So for more detail on that process, you can check out the How to Make a Gin Recipe video, which I've linked above. Anyways, my initial idea for a gin was to make something like a Hong Kong style lemon tea gin, which is a drink that I personally love. So I distilled a base gin using more lemony citrus botanicals like lemon verbena, lemon peel, orange peel, and coriander seeds. I also steeped some Tetley tea bags to make an orange pekoe tea concentrate, and prepared some fresh lemon juice by juicing some lemons. I then combined the gin with the tea, the lemon juice, and some simple syrup to see how it all tasted. I made up little samples of 40 milliliters or so, but they all tasted gross. The lemon verbena and the orris root made the gin taste like a strong perfume, and the tea and lemon juice gave it a weird yellowish color that everybody said looked like urine. So I ended up dumping the whole liter of gin down the drain. I had another genius idea of making a blueberry hop gin. So I went to the store and bought a half pint of blueberries and smashed them up. Then I put them into the still along with the neutral grain spirit and other botanicals. I distilled them, but again the flavor was quite perfumey and I got none of the blueberry flavor coming through at all. The hops just gave it a weird herbally flavor that was overpowering, and I didn't enjoy it at all. I had also wanted to buy some blueberry juice when I was at the grocery store, but I couldn't find any, so I settled on this Robinson's Creations Blackberry Blueberry Squash. Again, I made up a sample of the gin with the squash, and while the squash gave it an amazing purple color, the taste left much to be desired. All I tasted was the artificial berry flavor from the squash. And because squashes like these use sweeteners like aspartame instead of sugar, there was also an unpleasant aftertaste. So I didn't like this one either. Well, after those first two big failures, I decided to try again with a different recipe. So for my third attempt, I tweaked the lemon tea recipe and tried to make it into a pomegranate gin by adding pomegranate juice to it afterwards. This was my original recipe for the gin base before adding in the pure pomegranate juice. I had juniper berries, a Tetley tea bag, lemon peel, orange peel, orris root, coriander seed, pink peppercorns, and dried mango. For this recipe, I ordered some pomegranate juice off of Amazon, and I expected it to be a deep, vibrant red color like this, but it was just this unattractive brown color. After I distilled the gin base, I diluted it down with reverse osmosis water and some pomegranate juice. After a few days, I poured out some samples for everyone to try. This was the first gin recipe I let Simon try. As the first two were so bad, I immediately poured them down the drain.
So I'm tasting floral.
I was about to say that. For me,
all over my tongue is floral.
So what again I have to do it's just to test it and test that.
I want some tonic. See what that's like with the tonic.
I really like that person.
Subjective though, isn't it? You might have more of a floral.
So I'm not convinced, but I think I do have an aversion to more floral taste.
Yeah.
See, I like the old.
It tastes, I think the first word that comes into my head is actually artificial as well.
Really?
I think it
didn't
tastes
put
a little
any
bit.
artificial. It was more artificial before.
I just don't like it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
For my fourth attempt at a gin recipe, I tried to rework the blueberry hops recipe into a blueberry rosemary gin. I thought rosemary would pair better with blueberries. This was my original recipe for the gin base before I added in some pure blueberry juice. I had juniper berries, freeze-dried blueberries, dried blackberries, coriander seeds, lemon peel, orange peel, orris root, rosemary, and black peppercorns. I distilled those botanicals to make my gin base, and then to this I also added some pure blueberry juice and simple syrup. I made up some gin samples for Simon to try, but unsurprisingly he didn't like them, and I think at one point he even said that I should just give up. Well, my first 4 gins were hated, but I resolved to try one more time. This time I did away with the idea of adding a juice or squash to the gin afterwards. I think I was making things unnecessarily complicated for myself, so I wanted to simplify things by just making a dry gin. This time I decided to just put some ingredients that I really liked together and see what would happen. In this new recipe I had mango, ground almonds, juniper berries, coriander seeds, pink peppercorn, vanilla bean, mulberries, dry orange peel, and dry lemon peel. I distilled these botanicals and I actually thought it was quite nice, but the mango flavor wasn't strong enough and the herbal character was still a bit on the strong side. So I stuck with this recipe but just tweaked the amounts slightly. In this new updated recipe, which I was very happy with, I put in 7 centimeters of dried mango peel, half a teaspoon of finely ground almonds, 30 grams of juniper berries, 2 grams of coriander seeds, 2 pink peppercorns, 0.75 grams of Angelica Root, 3 millimeters of vanilla bean, 5 dried mulberries, 2 pieces of dried orange peel, and 1 piece of dried lemon peel. And I've also put the recipe in the description box below. I measured out these botanicals and put them in a copper alembic still along with 1 liter of neutral grain spirit. I collected about 425 milliliters and then diluted the gin back down to 40% ABV. After letting it sit for a few days, I tasted it and it had a strong, sweet mango flavor, and it didn't have the same herbally, perfumey flavor that the previous version had. But let's see what everyone else thought.
I do like your
Sorry, I spent too much time around
your sample sizes now. Is that vastly improved? I must say. I mean, it smells better than the shit gin you made.
Wow.
How much do you put in this? Was it
30.
30.
And then I took the Angelica down to 0.75 and then upped the mango and the mulberry.
It's definitely better. I think the Angelica was too strong the last time. Because there was that sort of woodsiness to it, which is what you get from the Angelica, which is very much on the back of this, but it's mild.
But I did have Sam go over it.
He's no use.
And David.
And he's just carried it with us.
Basically, it's mine and Dave's gin.
I'd say it's your best
Are
one.
you sure?
I'd say
Exactly sure.
it's definitely your best one, and it's not making me go, ugh. It's more of a question of taste. So I think it's not bad, but it's not something I would personally buy.
But then this is kind of when, as a kind of a, we have a gin of one style that is your taste.
I never said that.
So
There's never,
yeah.
What's it? I'm just saying, it's not one I would actually sit and quaff in a bar. But I wouldn't say it's a bad gin.
Come a long way.
Yes.
That first gin I made, I was too embarrassed to show Simon the first time. Only David and I tried it. Oh, that's how bad.
That's why you've got that twitch.
I wondered where that came from.
She decided to leave the methanol in on that batch.
While Simon said it was my best gin recipe to date, he also said that it didn't suit his taste, so they wouldn't be using my recipe. But that's just the way it is sometimes. But on the upside, because Simon didn't like it, I'm able to share the recipe for this Mango Mulberry Gin here in this video. So if you ever try to make it for yourself, do let me know what you think in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed watching me develop a Mango Mulberry Gin recipe. Please support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more distilling and distillery videos. This is Brewbird, sending good vibes your way. I'll see you next time.